Eddie, pleasure to see you today. What an absolute incredible turnout for Pat Brown. I've been working with Pat for 2 years now, before the Olympics. Morson have been sponsoring him now for 2 years before the Olympics, and to be honest, I didn't know that you were going to put on this sort of event for him. His following has been there for a long time. Manchester needs a new megastar, the UK needs a new megastar. Is that a statement of intent from your perspective?
Yeah, I think we got it in Pat, and that's why we've invested the time and days like today to do something different. You've got to think outside the box, you've got to do different kind of events. And, I look at Pat Brown, I see the excitement that he brings in the ring, I see the pedigree that he's got, the ability he's got, of course the fan base that he's got as well. And I think we're going to do something very special.
Do you see Pat potentially being an Anthony Joshua level star for this company?
That's a big shout, because AJ won the Olympic gold in London and he's a heavyweight, but Pat's got a different kind of thing. He talked there about a social media following. Yeah, we can build a social media following. Pat's got a following of real people, face to face, on the streets in the city. All those people that come tonight, 300 or 400, he knows them personally, and that's just on one day's notice. You're going to see him sell thousands of tickets because he's a man of the people, and that goes a long way. Do you know what I mean? Social media following, social media stars, that's great. Real stars is something that generates real passion from people on the streets, and I think that's Pat Brown.
He's got that confidence that you need to succeed at a high level. He was telling me, last summer 2023, that he watches heavyweights on your card, knowing that he can beat them now. Obviously, he's debuting in the Cruiserweight division, but he has plans to conquer both division over the next decade. Do you see that as a real possibility? Usyk level, Cruiserweight, then heavy.
First things first, the Cruiserweight division, and I think he'll glide through in the first 18 months. English, British, Commonwealth titles, maybe European titles, and then we've got to push on to world level as well. And from there, once you've delivered at Cruiserweight, you can go and talk about heavyweight as well. But the Cruiserweight division is very exciting. It's power, it's speed, it's agility, and Pat's got all of that. He's a tremendous fighter.
I've seen there have been rumours about the Beterbiev-Bivol rematch for the February Supercard, as well as Parker and Dubois. Is that the plan from your perspective? Have you heard anything about that?
There's a lot of fights that are being discussed, and when you talk about His Excellency, there's probably 20 fights that have been discussed for February 22nd. And, it's his job to put that together and make the announcement. From our side with Dimitri Bivol, we would love that rematch. Nothing's signed, nothing's agreed, but we are in talks for that, and we'll see what happens, whether that's February 22nd, whether that's later in the year. And, as for Dubois Parker, that's Queensbury's business, and there's a lot of fights being discussed, but when fights are done, when fights are made, you will hear it from His Excellency.
When you mention His Excellency, you even jokingly said for him to get the money out for you and De La Hoya. Yeah. What's going on there? Are you going to get the gloves on, Eddie?
No, look, if the money's right, I'll take a pasting, but I think we should leave it to our fighters.
You were a bit confident, though, a few weeks ago.
Just a big lump. Do you know what I mean? But it's okay, I'll take a pasting for a few quid. It's all right.
You're very cool, calm and collected. He's the complete opposite. Is there anything that he does that actually gets under your skin? Nobody gets under your skin, really.
He's just a bit, don't know what the right word is. He's a little bit crazy, isn't he? So, but look, he's a character, great fighter, and wish him all the best.
There was talks of a potential Matchroom versus Golden Boy card as well. You're absolutely down for that as well, aren't you?
100%. I don't see how we lose any fights against Golden Boy. Boots against Ortiz, Zepeda against Shakur Stevenson, Opatara against Ramirez, Ramirez against Catterall. I just don't see any fights we lose against Golden Boy, so bring it on.
Were you as surprised as the whole media world was with the Tommy Fury Darren Till announcement, and what did you make of that press conference?
I knew about it a little bit earlier because obviously, so, but I don't mind the fight. I'm not mad on the YouTube stuff. I think Misfits is a great concept, but that's got a little bit of a boxing element as well. The presser was crazy. And does very well on the zone.
He, in terms of Darren Till, he was serious about his boxing ambitions, and he had talked about potentially working with you at some point. If he did succeed with Misfits, would you ever consider working with him? Big ticket seller, isn't he?
Darren Till, I think he's nuts, and I think he's a right character, So we'll see how he gets on against Tommy Fury. I have no idea what's going to happen in that fight, but wish them both the best.
Yeah, that would be really cool to see, and just the Conor Benn situation as well. Everyone wants to see the Eubank fight. Obviously, they had that face-off in Riyadh a couple of months ago with Neymar in the ring as well. What's the situation with that? I know you mentioned ideally you'd like it over here, wouldn't you?
It's a massive fight. I think it's the fight to make. He's got plenty of options, Conor, but I think everybody's leaning towards the Eubank fight. We'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks. Hopefully we can get it made.
And I know everyone spoke out against Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. You'll have your own opinions on that. Worryingly, he said he'd be up for fighting Logan Paul as well in the future. What did you make, Mike Tyson? What did you make of that whole experience?
The event was incredible. You know, I said MVP done a great job. I didn't like the fight. I never liked the fight. I didn't like to see what happened that night. But the event's the event. It's done. Hopefully, people can take care of Mike Tyson and say, look, it's all done. You know, injury free. You made your money. Let's move on.
Final one from me. I saw backstage there was an issue with you sitting on the table with Katie Taylor. Was that down to your ongoing personal thing going on with Jake Paul?
I don't know. I mean, look, I think there was a lot of emotion on the night. I think their team said some things they shouldn't have. Maybe I over-celebrated a little bit, but it's just the emotion of the night. You know, everybody wants to win. And the night itself was incredibly impressive, regardless of what you thought about the main event. And obviously, we were delighted that Katie Taylor got the victory.
Perfect. Appreciate your time.